just setting up now, so this is going to be interesting. I've never done this before, so we're doing a little bit of an Instagram live with Burnt Island. So, oh goodness me, oh, we've even got people in Australia already. That's really good. So I'm waiting for Yvonne in Burnt Island, and she said she'd be here, and she's not. So what we're doing is that we're going to be doing a bit of talk about Fiverfest. I don't know if you know that it's just actually. I'll tell you what. I'll just wait till Yvonne starts. Oh, grief. Yeah. So I'm just waiting for our guest, who should be here any moment, which is Burnt Island, Yvonne in Burnt Island, in Scotland. Oh, that's right. The Cromwell Kitchen is Yvonne, so she's changed. She's gone to a different thing. So I'm going to put her go live with the Cromwell Kitchen. Sorry about this. You've got to know that this is the first thing done by us. So I'm just connecting up to the Cromwell Kitchen now, which is Yvonne. And there she goes. Hello.
Hi.
Oh God, that was like that was one of those bad TV moments where you're like waiting, and so hello and welcome.
Hi.
We've got quite a few people watching already, which is quite interesting. You've actually been live to Australia as we speak.
Yeah.
So that's good. So this is going to be quite random and quite. We've just been having a little chat earlier on. So Yvonne is I would say, the person who's been driving Fiverfest in Burnt Island this last few days, this last 2 weeks. That's right, isn't
Yep.
it? You are the driving force, and I've seen on Scottish TV as well.
Yep.
Which is good to hear. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
And
my name's Yvonne. I just took over from the coordinating Totally Locally in Burnt Island just last October. We'd taken part in a couple of Fiverfests, but the lady who'd started it was selling her cafe and retiring. So she was just looking around for somebody in town to take it up. I knew quite a few of the businesses already, and I just thought it would be a great opportunity to get to know them all and just keep it going.
So you run the Cromwell Kitchen, which is really interesting. It's an interesting business, isn't it? It's not your standard high street business, is it?
No.
Do you like tell us a little bit about it?
We started, it was a supper club 4 years ago, and we hosted communal dinner parties in our house. We've got a big dining room where we had 12 or 14 people sitting around a table, quite often strangers. We run themed menus, and we now have maybe 1700 followers on Facebook, a fantastic social network in the town, people who've just moved and now have met really great friends. So obviously that's stopped at the moment, but we're carrying on by doing takeaways. And we did mini Fiverfest takeaways, which was a huge success. And from next weekend, we're back to our usual.
Brilliant. Well, I think the interesting thing for us is that this time in Fiverfest there was 130 towns took part, which is really amazing, really, for us, because this started off as one town at a time doing this, you know. So to see it grow, this is the fourth one that we've done nationally, and there's certain towns really seem to take it to heart. There was some did okay, some did not very good. I've come across one town where we messaged and said, "How did it go?" And nobody bothered. and so what did you do? Oh, we just put it on Facebook that it was happening. But you guys have just gone the opposite, haven't you? Really, it's been huge, hasn't it?
It's been amazing. I mean, we just thought we'd go for it. There was such stress in the town when lockdown happened. People didn't know what was going on, but they've been so creative and adaptive in the past few months that we thought we've just got to do this. I used pester power to contact businesses that hadn't been involved before, and almost without exception, they've joined in. The only issue is we have some quite high-end jewellers and artists in town, and obviously the price point doesn't suit them, but they're still really supportive of totally locally. So it's just been fabulous, and I think it's that ability to not have any head office rules or protocols to follow, so everybody has just joined in and done their own thing, really. And there's been such an enormous buzz in the town that, yeah, it's just got to that critical mass that people just stop you in the street and say, oh, fantastic, well done, I bought this, I did this, I booked this. It's just been terrific.
So, so could you describe Burn Island? Because it's become sort of the poster child for high streets in Scotland, hasn't it? Really, is that? Would you say that's true? Or?
I think it is actually. We're a small town. It's about 6,000 people right on the River Forth, the beach. We have one small straight high street that has been around for several hundred years, and that's it. And I think it's because we are just lots of small businesses right next door to each other that have just started working together, and we rely heavily on tourism like a lot of coastal towns. We had no fairground this year. Our Highland Games was cancelled, our Civic Week was cancelled. So I think people have really just thought, what could they do locally that could make up for losing all this? And we now have people coming, I mean, from far and wide, particularly for a number of businesses such as the butcher and our fishmonger. They're huge draws to the town. We know people that come from, Edinburgh, the Borders, Dundee area, just to visit them, and they've been fabulous at spreading the word much further afield than Fife.
So it's a traditional high street, and has it always been a thriving high street, or has it had its bad times?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up here, and in the 70s and 80s, it was terrific. Towards the end of the 80s, it's close to a mining area, and of course the pit shut. Then sort of round about the early 90s, I wasn't living here, but it was quite depressing coming home and seeing a lot of the shops boarded up or changing hands. Then our biggest employer, an aluminium works, closed down in, I think it was around about 2000, and I literally thought the town would just disappear, like a lot of local towns. But actually, with the building of a lot of new homes, we have a new primary school, and people taking over businesses, probably only in the last 3 to 4 years, it has just shot back up there. I mean, we've got one of almost anything you could possibly want, and I think that really helps because people come and see it as an actual, destination to, just browse, have a coffee, and just see what's going on.
And I suppose, and knowing, I was just saying, we were saying earlier, weren't we, that I spent a year calling it Burntisland, and for some reason in my head I'd read it as Burntisland, and I was only corrected live on Radio Scotland on the lunchtime show, which was really a bit embarrassing. But it's sort of, it's I think for me it's like it's been interesting to watch, because I remember it's probably about 3 years ago, isn't it, that Burn Island became involved in Totally Local. Is that right? Is it 3 years ago?
I think it was quite a few before that, actually. They maybe didn't join in with perhaps they didn't join in with a UK Fiberfest. I'm not sure. Yeah.
But it's been interesting to watch it develop, and I think this last Fiberfest particularly, and this is what I was sort of going to chat to you about, is what made some of the stories you sent back to us were amazing, like the butcher selling, was it double their turnover or something?
They are super successful butchers as it is. In fact, they were on the Susan Calman Secret Scotland programme the other week because he won World Haggis Championship. So they're not quite at the best of times, but the last Thursday of Fiberfest was his busiest Thursday ever, almost double his normal turnover, and he sold I think he had 300 customers in the shop, and a quarter of his turnover was just the Fiberfest deal. He changed his deal every single day he was open, quite often selling out before lunchtime. So And the other amazing thing was we have a lady who makes bespoke candles. She sells all over Scotland, fancy markets. She was so busy, she decided just to put her products online on Saturday, saying, I can only take online orders. So from 9 o'clock Saturday, you can order. She sold it in 9 minutes and was blown away. Furiously, frantically went to source for more of these jars. She has, you know, specific jars to make these Firefest candles. Managed to get some. Said, great news, we're going to be back on the following Saturday. I'll have my stock made. 3 minutes sold out.
Three minutes.
Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because for me, it's because I've lived with this for such a long time, and every time we do Fiverr Fest, I think, oh, it's not going to be very good this time. And then at the end of it, I'm always shocked by what people send back, the feedback that we send back, and it's been. And one, I don't know what town it was in. Yeah, one lady who did 465, a florist did 465 Fiverr Fest deals, and it's like that's a lot. That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it sort of, and she showed a picture of on the last Saturday, the shop at the beginning of the day, and the shop at the end of the day, and it was empty. And I think, for me, I think it's just it's the simplicity of it, isn't it? It's just a really simple message. Spend £5 in your town, it makes it better.
Uh-huh.
But here's a really easy way to do it. But the bit that I can't get my head around, and it, you know, I do marketing for a living, so I should be able to get my head around it. But that's how much people can embrace it. So if, and I do think it's down to people like yourself, people doing social media, but also this way that people share each other's, sharing each other's offers, but also pointing out each other's businesses and stuff, which is what you've really done, isn't it? You've come at it as a town rather than individual businesses. That's right, isn't it?
Completely. And I think that the most important thing is, well, we use social media. Well, not everybody, but the vast majority of businesses, certainly the sort of bigger ones in town, all personally know each other. We all know each other's names. We're always shopping with each other. We say hello in the pub, in the street. So it's like a friendly community as well. And for example, we have a burger stall, which doesn't sound very fancy, but they buy all their meat from our award-winning butcher. Just everybody shares each other's good news stories and helps each other out. The new bakers that opened, they could not believe how much help they were getting for nothing. People were actively saying, would you like me to do this? Do you need any help with that? And they're just blown away. And so for a young couple who had their first baby in January to open right in the middle of lockdown,
could you tell us a story about them? Because it's such an interesting story, isn't it? They came from, was it?
Romania. So they're this lovely young couple who came over to join, it's not quite a cooperative, but it's a bread maker in close to Burntisland who takes volunteers and provides sort of food and lodging in turn for them working. They ended up being employed by him, and they decided they loved it so much here that they wanted to open their own bakery. And because we know this other bakery, they pointed them in our direction. And in the space of about 6-8 months, we managed to find them premises, get the signage, get them up and running.
As a community, you as a community found them the space, is that what you're saying?
Well, yes. So personally, my partner is a commercial property surveyor, so he helped them with the lease. The town helped out. They started giving free samples to everybody before they opened to test the bread. So then everybody in town raved about them, and yeah, it's just been one of these things. Everyone was so desperate for them to stay in Burntisland and not open in another town that it was, you know, that's probably selfish, but it worked and we've got them.
Oh, it's a wonderful story. It's like, it just, yeah. I suppose people are looking for the good news stories, aren't they? And one of the things that we've found with this has been for us, and because we've been working with Visa as well, which for the first time ever, which has been really good for us, and I think that and they've been so great with us about just supporting us, particularly through press and media and stuff.
Mhm.
And it's not where I'm going with that one. Just sort of I've lost my trail there for a minute. There's loads of little messages flashing up on here, which like people joining and saying hello. So I'm trying to look at you and read those at the same time. So I'm going to ignore them. But I think I suppose like we were just chatting earlier, weren't we? And you were saying that people don't understand. So sometimes I keep saying to people like um, totally locally and Fiverfest is not a silver bullet for your town. It's not like stick up the poster and everything changes. And you were saying like how it's actually really hard work, isn't it? And you need you've had the baton passed on to you, and you'll probably at some point go, "I've had enough. I'll pass it to somebody else as well." But you were just saying you were cleaning down the banners. Is that right? Are you still doing it now? Or
Let me go and check. Yes, so we just took them down this morning.
yeah,
Let's see, they are filthy because they've been on the road. Let's have a look, see if he's still got them here. Let's see. See, people don't see the glamour side of this. You see, there we go.
yeah.
Hang on.
Oh, oh, you've gone a little. You're frozen. You must be out of yet.
Oh, hang on, hang on.
Oh,
Hang on. I'll just move over here.
yeah, you're frozen there. Oh, you. Oh, is that you? Lift it down a bit. Oh, there you go. Look, I like you. So there is the glamour of volunteering for Fiverfest.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just some of these things, picking up leaflets from the printers, delivering them to businesses, things like that. It just takes time, and it's. I only do it because I think it's a fantastic thing for the town. But this time round, we've now got a whole bunch of people who are willing to help out, which is terrific. So next time we do it, it'll be a lot less effort for 2 or 3 of us. We'll have a whole band of helpers, which can only be good.
Fantastic. Oh, it's amazing to watch and to see. And I can't wait when lockdown actually lifts at some point. I can't wait to come up and meet you all and stuff. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, well,
But yeah,
I think that'd be terrific because, like I say, you walk into pretty much every single shop or business on the high street and everyone will go hello because they know each other, and without talking about themselves they'll probably say, oh, did you hear Tom did this, or somebody else has got this amazing offer on. And I think that's the thing, it's not all about me, it's as in one's own business. It's people really are excited about sharing other people's because they realise that this is what's making it an exciting place to do business. We don't have any competition whatsoever. We have 3 cafes and an ice cream parlour with 2 just about to open, which is astonishing, right in the middle of this. And nobody is complaining that there's an extra cafe. They're going, fantastic. Another empty premise is actually now being filled. So I think that's it as well. We don't have anybody who's not playing because they want it all for themselves. They're maybe not joining in occasionally because the £5 price point just doesn't suit their business, or for whatever reason they couldn't. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be part of the totally locally family, the rest of the year.
and it is a family, isn't it? The community. There's a wider one as well. You're a part of the group, the doers group as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
And people are always asking questions, and so we have a. For those who don't know, we have on Facebook we have a doers group, and there's about 900 people in there, and it's quite interesting, isn't it? People are asking questions, and people are answering questions as well from all different towns from across the world as well, aren't they? So it's really interesting. It is a big family, isn't it?
It is, and what's interesting about that is that you realise that your own experience isn't necessarily mirrored by other towns. So we're very lucky in that it's all very positive and we're having a fantastic time, but you'll go on there and see comments from people that are feeling like they're hitting their head against a brick wall because they're not getting cooperation or people don't understand what it's about. And I think being able to go on and say, being supportive to them or offering some sort of advice or options, or say this is what we did when we encountered that, is really helpful.
Fantastic. I think you are like a good role model for towns, and it's not. we talked before as well, and like it's not a given that you are just have to be in the right place, because there's towns around you that aren't doing as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of this, I think it's a lot of people. Everything's around about the high street at the moment, isn't it? And the bit that I think people are missing is this whole collaboration. That's just it. It's just collaboration, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
if you all
that's
join
it in a
together,
nutshell, and not.
yeah. So if you all join together and you all promote each other, all of a sudden you've got a town worth visiting, haven't you? That's just basically it. And if you don't, if you're all just shouting your own corner, it's not worth a trip into town just to go to one shop, is it?
No,
Uh,
no. And I think that a key thing is not relying just on social media. It's getting out and meeting everybody who is taking part, so that they do feel like they are actually part of it, and not just, it's not an Instagram post here or a Facebook post being
yeah,
shared there. They are actually all involved. I mean, we have people from, younger people who are working from home and maybe a sort of creative project, right up to business people who have been around for 2 or 3 decades and really know their stuff. So it's a great environment for people to share their experience and as I say, to help out, whether that's just advice or on a practical note.
yeah. Well, I'm amazed. And we've all been amazed to watch, particularly like you say, your town. In particular, it's been incredible to watch, and I love the Scottish TV thing that happened as well. And did you get good feedback from that?
We
You must have.
got fabulous feedback, and what was really cute was that somebody, when the crew went back to their car in the car park, a lady was next to them and just got chatting, and without any prompting, they'd said how much they'd enjoyed the day, how much they loved speaking to people. They did go away with a lot of freebies, such as bread and things like that, and they finished off the conversation saying, we'll definitely be back. So couldn't say better
That's
than
what.
that.
So there's some lessons there to be learned, isn't there, on the Fiverr Fest, I suppose, and we'll leave it at this point as well. It's just to say that it's not easy. It's not just about sticking posters up. It's about a collaborative effort together to actually work together and share each other's stuff, and physically as well as when someone comes to your shop, you physically say you need to go to that person over there, or have you seen their offer? And people love it, don't they? I think customers actually love it when a shop says, "Go and try that one. I recommend that shop over there." That's quite unusual, isn't it?
It is,
Um,
and I think one of the loveliest things, and this happened in February as well, was on the first Saturday. The town was mobbed, and it was so nice because now we're all having to stand in queues. Is to watch people walk up and down the town with a flyer in their hand, actively looking at all the places they were going to tick off, all the things they were going to buy, and all the things they were going to order. And we had some lovely posts on Facebook on that Saturday afternoon of people taking photographs of their haul, of their stash, of everything that they bought in that afternoon. And it wasn't just one or two things, it was 6, 7, 8 plus. And I think the
wow.
people whose products were in those photographs got such a buzz from it because they thought, well, people have specially come to me to buy what I've offered for this, and makes you feel good.
Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, well, I think that's a good place to leave it, I suppose, isn't it? Do you think, or is there anything else you'd like to add, or is there any advice you'd like to give to anybody around? I don't know. How do you finish things like this?
You kind of broke up there. I didn't quite catch that.
Sorry, I just saying. Is there anything you'd like to add in a way, or what's your advice? I suppose. Is it, or is it just what we say? Be nice because it gets things done.
Definitely, and I also think persevere. Relationships don't grow overnight. Just if somebody's not cooperative, just leave them, ignore them, leave them to their own devices. Don't take it personally, but just keep going. And also, don't think that you have to compete on a scale with any other town. Whether you've got a dozen businesses or 120, if it benefits those businesses, then it's a fantastic thing to get involved in.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Two or three businesses. I mean, I know towns where we've met one person who's determined to do this, and they have transformed the town. and it doesn't cost. The one thing I'd like to leave all this with is it doesn't cost lots and lots and lots of money to create a vibrant high street. It just takes people who actually care and who want to do it. And like the key messages of what we've used in the past are all about, if you spend your money locally, the place gets better. If you work together, the place gets better. If you combine the two, you're on to a winner, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, yeah.
As simple as that, really.
Yeah.
Not rocket science, is it? Maybe we could do a government paper on that,
Yeah.
you know. So, okay, well, thank you, Yvonne. Thanks for your time. And honestly, I've really enjoyed that. It wasn't as scary as I thought, and I don't know how to tell on that one. And what's your husband's name, by the way? Or your partner's name, sorry, by the way, who was cleaning the van?
That was Jeff.
Jeff.
He said, he's on his hands and knees and he said, I know my place.
Indeed, I'm sure he does. But thank you so much, and congratulations on all the stuff you've done with Five. That's absolutely amazing.
Thanks a lot.
And a big hello to everyone in Burn Island as well.
Thanks.
Okay, take care. Thank you very much. Thank you. Take care. Bye.